Hey there, welcome to McNaught Cadillac Buick GMC. This is Riley here, one of the product merchandisers, and I've got an exciting video to show you today. This is the 2020 Cadillac CT5 Sport. Now this is the very first one that we've received here in Winnipeg, Manitoba, so I figured why not dive ahead, take a look at all the new features that this all-new vehicle has to offer. Now Cadillac's bringing some serious heat and competition when it comes to competitors such as BMW, Audi, Genesis, or even Lincoln with their MKZ. Now the CT5 falls right between the previous generation of Cadillac, where there was the ATS and the CTS. One thing I'd like to point out before we continue on with this review is the all-new key fob that Cadillac has created for the 2020 CT5. Overall, really nice, slim profile with the matte black finish and the aluminum insert on the inside with your Cadillac badge on the back. And on the front side, of course, you got your lock, unlock, double tap for your remote start, double tap to open the trunk, and the panic button. So definitely a really nice fob that'll go well with some of your other accessories. Now, at first glance, absolutely beautiful. Like I said, this is the Sport trim, so you're gonna find a couple unique personality traits on the Sport. Starting off with this front grille, you've got the all black mesh grille. On the premium luxury model, you are going to have some chrome accents within the grille itself. Now the Sport opts for that more black and aggressive appearance overall. The front fascia as well, black, a bit more aggressive with the body lines. As we move around side, you've got the satin graphite 19-inch 10-spoke wheels. These are the Sport wheels. They look really great with this satin steel exterior. And you're going to notice you've got Brembo brake calipers on the front brakes. So these are Cadillac branded, and you've actually got the option to customize those. You could get them in blue or red as well. Now walking alongside the CT5, a couple new features here, okay? The door handles themselves are a bit different. They're no longer actual physical door handles. In fact, there's a sensor on the back which is going to enable you to open the door without actually moving the handle itself. So this is really good. This is good for aerodynamics. This is definitely going to help it keep a nice low profile. And with the lighting package, you've actually got the illuminated feature on the handle itself. And you're going to find some lights underneath the mirror caps, which are going to illuminate around the car. And there's even a proximity sensor. So as you actually walk up to the CT5 at night, all the lights are going to light up. The vehicle is going to greet you on your way in. Now the back end, really nice rear spoiler, which is once again part of that Sport package. Got the CT5 badging, dual exhaust system on the back, and overall, I mean, just look at this back end, really nice LED lighting. The rear camera mirror has been relocated. The camera itself is now up on the wireless fin, so that's going to give you a better point of view. It's going to keep the camera nice and clean. Walking around the other side. Now we're going to talk about the engine options. The new CT5 actually has 3 engine options overall. You've got a standard 2-liter turbocharged twin scroll engine. Now that's going to push out 237 horsepower with 258 pound-feet of torque. And then you've got the 3-liter twin turbo V6 option, which is going to be in the premium luxury, as well as the V series, which is going to have the same 3-liter twin turbo engine, except it's actually going to be tuned a bit differently. You're going to be getting 360 horsepower out of that engine, as opposed to the one in the premium luxury, which pushes out 335. So regardless of which trim you get, all 3 motors have their own distinct kind of personalities. They match up really well with the 10-speed transmission, so you're going to be getting exceptional performance. But I will say the V series is going to really push you to the limits, especially considering you've got an all-wheel drive system. One of the first V series models, to actually give you that high performance engine paired up with an all-wheel drive system. So that's going to be really exciting. All right, now we're going to dive into the driver's seating area of the all-new Cadillac CT5. Now this model is equipped with the jet black leather interior, and there's a couple new options for this CT5. You've got Whisper Beige, and you've also got Sedona Sauvage, which is an option with the Platinum package. Absolutely incredible, next level, high quality materials on the inside. And overall, the interior is really nice and sleek and simple. And we've got on the door panels the carbon fiber trim, which you're going to see throughout the vehicle. Once again, part of that sporty appearance that you're going to get in the Sport package. All new to these 2020 generation Cadillacs is the Bose Performance Series audio system. Now, Bose has had a really good relationship with Cadillac over the years, and that's allowed the company to develop really high quality sound systems that are custom tone and fit for these particular vehicles. So the acoustics have been engineered in a way that's going to give you really good sound isolation in the vehicle, in addition to the triple pane glass. So really nice, quiet ride, which we're going to talk about more once we jump inside. Now, the other things on the door panel include your memory seat settings. You could set up for different driver profiles. You've got the power adjustable mirrors with the power folding feature. And then as we move down, automatic one-touch down windows and one-touch up as well, which is really nice. Now, last but not least, we have the electronic releasing trunk. Push that button, trunk's gonna open up, no problem. And because of that lighting package I talked about earlier, you've actually got the illuminated door sill plate. Really nice Cadillac emblem there, giving it that nice warm and cozy appearance as you open up your car at night. Heading down a little bit lower, lumbar support, driver's power adjustable controls, of course. The Sport model has the thicker 3-spoke steering wheel there with the magnesium paddle shifters for that 10-speed transmission. So that's a really nice touch. Allows you to engage a bit more with your car. And then you've got the power adjustable steering wheel, heads-up display controls, and your electronic parking brake. All right, so at first glance, this is the driver's point of view in the cockpit of the new CT5. Really nice and spacious. That's the one thing I have to say over and over again. I can't stress that out enough. This is a really nice and comfortable car overall, and you're going to want to spend a lot of time in here, especially once you see all the features it has to offer. Now, starting off with your steering wheel, once again, Sport model is going to have a bit of a thicker steering wheel, bit better handling with that. Of course, you want to have that nice leather grip on here. On the left hand side, you are going to find your cruise controls, your heated steering wheel button, which is going to light up to tell you that it's on, but of course you'll feel it. It's going to be nice and warm in the winter. You've got your forward collision and cruise control, automatic cruise control, which is going to allow you to adjust the gap for how close you want to follow the vehicle in front of you. And then you've got your hands-free Bluetooth calling buttons. You could make a phone call that way, hang up the call. And then, like I said, magnesium paddle shifters on the back. Moving over to the right-hand side, you will find your tuning controls. So you could switch radio stations, switch tracks up and down, audio, volume rockers, and then you've also got your all-new kind of 5-point command center with the actual scroll wheel, which is going to basically allow you to control everything you see on this front 8-inch display, the driver's information center. So you've got your trip odometer, you've got your fuel consumption, you've got oil life, tire pressure, all of that information right there in front of you. And like I told you earlier, you actually also have a heads-up display system, which is going to be really hard to show on camera, but you could see it right there, right in front of the Yukon. You've got the heads-up display, which is projected onto the windshield, so that's really nice, and of course allows you to keep your eyes on the road, which is really important. GM is all about safety in their vehicles. Now, moving over here to the right-hand side, you've got, of course, your radio displays. You've got navigation prompts, your phone, and then, of course, you've got some settings if you want to change to the metric or imperial system, no problem. You've got a couple options with your heads-up display and whatnot. So that's a really nice overall gauge cluster that you're going to enjoy on this vehicle. Heading on over to the right-hand side, this is a 10-inch screen. This is actually an upgrade from the previous generation of Cadillacs where they had the 8-inch touch display. This is now a 10-inch screen, and it's integrated seamlessly into the dash. You've got like just a beautiful setup here in terms of the the gloss black interior materials. You've got the leather with the nice kind of offset stitching, and then this beautiful display that's just kind of floating here in the middle of your dash. And this is the star of the show, guys, okay? This is all new. You know, they've upgraded their system over the years, but this Q system is perhaps the best yet that you're gonna find in any of Cadillac's vehicles. A common complaint with the previous generation was the, you know, the touch capacitive volume slider. They went back to regular old volume knobs, so it's really easy to use. Of course, this is the home screen. You've got two versions of that you could display. One that has a split view with your nav and your radio and your climate, or the other one which is just you know, straight up showing out your apps that you've got. So we're going to talk about these real quick. This could pretty much be a video of its own, but for radio, you've got your Bluetooth, your AM, FM, you've got Sirius XM radio, as well as, of course, Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, which is really great. Phone connectivity, pretty standard. Bluetooth phone pairing, your contacts are going to show up, your recent calls, all of that will sync nice and intuitively. Navigation is perhaps one of the greatest we've seen across the industry in terms of how responsive and you know, really easy to use overall. As you could see, you could use 2 fingers to zoom in and out. You know, you could enter and save hotspots such as your home address, your work address, and it's going to tell you how far away you are according to the actual live traffic updates. So this is a really great navigation system. You're going to find yourself using this probably more than the navigation built into your phone, just because of how well it works. Wi-Fi hotspot is an option. You could get a subscription through OnStar, and that's going to give you monthly data usage, which you could use, and it's going to use the antenna built into the car to get that 4G LTE signal, which is a lot better than the antenna built into your phone. You could set up user profiles. This is new. This is really great if you want to have everything from your seat position to your radio settings. All of that could be saved according to you or your spouse or your kid. Whoever's driving this car could have their own profile. No questions asked. Nobody's arguing. It's all good. Couple other system settings here. One of the really nice things about this car is its ability to kind of predict and set your climate controls to a really nice level. So basically, in these settings, you could control everything from your remote start. Do you want it to start up and go to 21 degrees Celsius every time, or do you want the heated steering wheel on when you remote start your vehicle? So that's really good to be able to have access to all that, those controls. You've got your lighting controls as well, which is awesome. You could control how long you want the exit lighting on, or if you want the door handle lights to turn on, whatnot. And then, of course, Apple CarPlay, Android Auto. Now, on the second page of apps, you're going to find the App Store itself, which is right now I can't load that up. I don't have the wireless signal working, but there is apps such as the Weather Network. You've got Spotify. You've got a bunch of stuff on there that you could preload onto your CT5, keep everything up to date, and you know, add a bit more to your overall Q experience. OnStar climate controls are nice and laid out on the screen if you want to have access to that. But of course, you have the physical buttons down below. Cadillac knows everybody likes to have buttons, of course. So you've got access. You've got 2 options, the screen or the buttons themselves. Video recorder is a really great system. Because of all the cameras on this car, you've got the video recorder built in, so there's no need to have a dash cam, none of that. It's going to record every single minute of your driving throughout the day. As long as you put the SD card in there, you're going to have access to record everything. It's a really great thing for insurance purposes. You know, God forbid you were to get into an accident, it's going to be saved into the SD card built into your car. Another thing I want to show you is the camera system, which you've probably seen before on the CT6, a couple of the other models. But what's new to the CT5 is you actually have your own button for the 360 camera. So we're going to go ahead and press that. And then basically if we go up to the touchscreen, you're going to see that it has prompted the cameras to display themselves on the screen. So let's go over some of the options here. Now on the split view, left-hand portion, you're going to find your 360 bird-eye view. On the right-hand side, you're going to have your forward-facing or your rear-facing camera. You could turn on and off the trajectory lanes, which are going to basically kind of guide you as you turn your wheel. That way you could predict exactly where you're going to be into the parking spot ahead. You've got the top-down view, which is really handy if you're approaching or you know, reversing into a curb. And then you've got the side cameras, which are built into the mirrors, which are actually going to show you the curb view of both your front and rear tires. Make sure you don't hit that curb. These are really expensive wheels, really nice looking wheels. You don't want to damage that, of course. Once again, you could prompt the cameras to go into the full screen mode, or you could have it back into the split. So really great system. It's going to make parking a lot less stressful, especially if you do a lot of city driving. You want to be able to parallel park really nice and safely without damaging your vehicle. Climate controls all across the board. You've got a nice little display here with the dual zone temperatures. As we head lower, you've got the heated and ventilated front seats. Now these are, in the Sport model at least, you do have the Sport bolsters on the seats, which make it nice and comfortable, especially if you're doing a little bit more dynamic driving. You've got the automatic parking system, which is just incredible. You're able to approach either a parallel or perpendicular spot, and your car is going to actually scan the space, and it's going to automatically not only reverse and park, but it's actually going to automatically brake for you, so you don't have to do anything at all other than sit there and let the car do the parking. So once again, I told you before, you've already got the cameras, but now you've got this. This is game changing in terms of technology that's being put into these new cars. Parking sensors, you could turn those on and off. Your automatic rear brake, park assist. If you don't want to deal with any of that nonsense, just turn it off. You have the option. Lane keep assist, lane departure warning, that button is right here. And then once again, your passenger has those luxuries of the heated and ventilated seats. Now heading a bit lower, precision shift selector. This is new as of, I guess, the XT4 brought in this gear shifter, I believe, and it's really good. So it is a digital shifter. However, it does act pretty similar to a regular old shifter, other than, of course, taking up all the space, which would be unnecessary. So foot on the brake, press the button on the side and drop it down into drive. Now if you want to put it into reverse, you're gonna, once again, foot on the brake, push it all the way up into reverse, and then to put it into park, you just press the P button, and then you are gonna have a nice little audible chime, which is gonna let you know and confirm that you are indeed in park. Now heading down a bit lower, you've got a little panel with a few more buttons. This is really important, this auto hold feature. They just added this in, and what this allows you to do is, if you're doing a lot of city driving, stop and start driving, you're gonna press that button, and then when you get to a red light and you let your foot off the brake, it's actually going to keep the car stopped. You're not gonna roll forward or anything like that. So that's really good. You know, it's going to reduce driver fatigue when you're driving a lot around the city and on your daily commute. Traction control, of course, auto start stop function, which is going to save you some gas. But if you don't want to use that, you could turn it off. Like I said, Cadillac's leaving it up to you guys. You guys have the option for everything this car has. Now the drive mode selector, this is really exciting. All the CT5s are going to have this, and it allows you to, now let me adjust my camera here. You're going to have 4 different profiles, or different, I guess, drive modes, I should say, for this vehicle. Now, Tour is going to give you that optimum comfort and fuel economy. If you move down one into Sport mode, that's going to adjust the suspension dampers, give you a bit of a stiffer ride, tighten up the steering wheel a little bit, engage the transmission to hold on to its lower gears a little bit longer. This is going to give you that optimum performance that you want to get out of this vehicle. And then there's snow and ice mode, which is really nice for the winter time. It's going to actually kind of adjust your throttle control a little bit. You know, you don't want to be losing traction off a red light, so it might start you off into second gear. That's going to adjust, you know, to give you the best traction in the winter time. And then the last one, which I'm trying to show you, is the My Mode feature. Now this kind of gives you the option to customize your car how you want. Let's say you want that tight steering, but you want to have a nice comfortable suspension. Of course, that's an option. You could actually play around with that in the settings and configure that and tailor that exactly how you want. Now, last but not least, underneath the precision shift selector is the audio controls, as well as your knob with the jog function, and that's going to allow you to control everything on your infotainment system without having to actually dirty up the touchscreen or none of that. So really nice. Once again, volume control right down here, and another one right up here on the dash, so that keeps things nice and clutter-free. One last thing, you have the wireless charging mat, which is really nice. It's in a good spot this time around, okay? So if you put your phone here, not only is it, of course, within eye's view and out of reach, but you know, it's right next to your infotainment system. So if you need to glance down at a text message without really being distracted, it's in a really good position to be able to do that. But like I said, I really recommend you use Apple CarPlay or Android Auto, some of the features that this car has to offer, so that you could drive and remain safe on the road, of course. Inside the armrest itself, you've got a 12-volt charge outlet, USB, USB-C, and an SD card slot. Nice carbon trim throughout with the aluminum to kind of accent around the buttons. And then as we head on up, we're going to touch on this rear view camera mirror. You've seen this before. They've added this kind of borderless edge-to-edge display, really high quality camera on this vehicle. The buttons themselves allow you to zoom in and out. You could go up and down and basically get the optimum view for your rear view camera. As we head up towards the ceiling, you've got your OnStar buttons. You've got the illumination for your doors if you want your lights to turn on and off. These are all LED lights and they fade in and out, giving you a really nice cozy experience. You've got the Wi-Fi router, which you could turn on and off. And then you've got your slide, tilt, and shade controls for the UltraView dual panel sunroof. So as you can see, both sunroofs open at the same time, and you could close up that shade if you'd like to keep the cabin nice and cool. Last but not least, drivers, garage door transmitter controls. You could program that and it'll work nice. All right, backseat time in the CT5. Let's jump in. Now, first glance, 3 passenger seats in the back. If you only have 2 people though, you do have a nice comfortable armrest. Same great materials that you'll find in the front, you'll find in the back as well. Once again, offset stitching on the jet black leather seats. You've got the Bose performance audio speakers. You've got 2 on the rear door panels themselves. Like I said, 15 speakers in total. Carbon fiber trim, aluminum handles, 1 touch down and up windows. Just a really overall fantastic rear seating experience. Whether you've got, you know, a couple young adults or if you've got the kids in the back, it's not going to be an issue whatsoever. The back of these sport seats are actually concaved, which is going to give a little bit more legroom for the rear occupants. You do have a USB port right in the back, as well as your climate vents and a 12-volt outlet, so you could keep everything charged up. And of course, once again, UltraView sunroof in the back, giving you lots of natural light and you know, just making everything seem a bit more spacious overall. Last but not least, we're going to open up the trunk, take a look at the space we're dealing with. Like I said, on the key fob itself, you do have the trunk button, or you could just simply walk up and do the kick motion, and that's going to unlatch your trunk and open up for you. So really easy and convenient if you've got some groceries on hand. So in the back seat, trunk I should say, plenty of space here. You could fit a set of golf clubs. If you want to drop those seats down, it's a 60-40 split. You're able to lay those rear seats down nice and flat to give you a little bit extra storage space. And then inside here you do have a bit more hidden storage down below. So overall, pretty satisfactory trunk size. So you definitely have lots of room to play with, whether you're heading out on a long road trip you know, just commuting throughout the week. So all in all, key takeaways from the CT5 is huge competition against some of the offerings from the other brands in its segment. You've got 3 engine options, like I said, 2-liter turbocharged, you have a 3-liter twin turbo, and then you've got another alternate version of that same 3-liter twin, which is going to have a bit better horsepower output and torque rating coming in the V package. So 4 trim levels: luxury, premium luxury, sport, and the V. 3 engine options, and an overall fantastic car at a really attractive price point. So I invite you over to McNaught Cadillac Buick GMC. We're located 1717 Waverley Street in Winnipeg, Manitoba, and we would be happy to take you on a tour of this all-new CT5 or anything else you may be interested in. Have a nice day.